Hey guys, I'm Matt with Meat Church. Well, we have a special episode of the show this week. We're here at the Buffalo Trace Distillery where the Meat Church team is going to be doing 2 barrel selections because bourbon and barbecue go together, and I'm about to show you how and why. So you guys know I turned my #1 hobby, outdoor cooking, into my job. I also have other hobbies, and bourbon is one of those. So bourbon and barbecue are very similar for a lot of reasons. I say they go together like peanut butter and jelly, but a lot of people that like barbecue also like bourbon, but it's deeper than that for me. Bourbon and barbecue are both about the memories you create around them. I always tell people in my barbecue schools, when you go down the road, years down the road after an event, you're not gonna remember the type of smoker I used to make this brisket for you or what type of pellets you use in a grill or that sort of thing. You're gonna remember the memories you made around the people that you shared it with. We call it Meat Church because it's about making great memories around good food. Well, bourbon is the exact same way. Bourbon is meant to be drank. It's meant to be shared with family and close friends and create memories around that. And we're gonna talk a lot about that today. You're gonna see we have a super special guest from the Bourbon Hall of Fame, and he's gonna tell you more about that. So let's get down to the distillery.
Once again, on behalf of Buffalo Trace Distillery, I'd like to welcome you. It is the oldest continually operated distillery in the United States. A lot of people lose sight of the significance of good bourbon and good whiskey, and they think it's meant to be treasured and saved. That's not what it was made for. It was meant to be shared and create memories and moments that can never be repeated in your life. I can always appreciate a really nice bourbon, but I appreciate it even more when I share it with someone that we create a memory because they talk about the fact they can't believe that I opened that bottle and shared it with them. I try to get people to understand there's always going to be more whiskey, all right? But a special moment that you're moved enough to bring out a good bottle for, that's what they're for. Honor tradition, embrace change. It's not about who's making the best whiskey, it's about understanding what you're doing so that you can be consistent with what you make.
This is the iconic Warehouse C. You can see where a tornado ripped off the top of it. There was some E.H. Taylor up there. They came out with a tornado surviving bourbon. Definitely a bucket list bourbon for me, but man, the history of this place, I feel like we're in Disneyland right now. The smell of this distillery, it's unbelievable. If you're into whiskey and bourbon, it's like, whew, does something to a man. Kind of like the smell of barbecue. Just gets you going. Well, this is gonna be super fun. We're headed to Warehouse D to pick our very own barrel of Buffalo Trace. I don't think I could be more excited right now.
Wait till you see this. I think you'll be happy.
Oh, I know I'll be.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at the grids, come over and look at the barrels and give me 4 of these that you would like to do a sample from.
All right, number 1.
Number 1, all right.
And then we're gonna go down here at number 7.
Number 7.
Lucky number 7, got any craps players? 17, they like the beat up one, look at that one. Team 17 in the house. And then we're going 21, Deion Sanders, Christian Brewer.
Oh Lord.
And so now we will not know what bottle numbers they are, or the barrel, right?
Well, you are. So you're going to know all the way down until we get to the blind at the end. And when that happens, we're going to go through the magic door. You're going to go back into the other part of the distillery. And I'm going to slide the final 2 glasses down off the grid. And you're going to vote left or right. All right. So if you take an uncut unfiltered bottle of bourbon and hold it under the light, you can use your cell phone. and look up through it, you will notice that down near the bottom, you'll see particulates, you'll see a little bit of char residue, stuff like that. Barrels in a warehouse, just like real estate, location, location, location. The cool part is age is just a number, right? So, like your kids growing up, like our buddies, some grew up, some didn't, maturity. So you start with putting barrels in a certain area, and by a certain period of time, they should start to fall within the targeted taste profile. Some take longer than others. So that's why when we say, how old is Buffalo Trace, and we'll say it runs 7 to 9 years old, is because we know that somewhere, depending upon which warehouse it sits in, one is going to age a little bit faster than the other. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, I'm cutting them down, and then we're going to do a little bit of selection here. What you have to remember is they have not yet been chill filtered when you do this, and it gives you a chance to see, okay, if I were to pour this on the rocks, does it hold its own? Does it go flat? Think about this. You only bring out your good stuff with people you like, right? All right, so you bring out this bottle that you've tried to get a hold of for 2 or 3 years, you finally get it, you tell them how much you paid for it and all you went through, and you give them a nice pour because you like them. The problem is you don't even know if they like it. They may not even like wheated bourbons, and here you give them this healthy pour that you paid a lot of money for and you stood in line, and now you look at them like, you are going to drink this. So all of a sudden, a very nice moment becomes a very awkward moment for that person. So what I tell people is, whenever you do your good stuff with friends, give them a flight. So on round 1, we're going to find out which of these 4 barrels gets the least number of votes. All right, on the count of 3, you raise your left or your right hand. 1, 2, 3. Left, left.
We were split.
So I wrote it down on a napkin.
Right with B. Bam. Let's go, baby. I beat the palate.
All right. So where you want to go?
Freddie, what do you think?
What's his?
Oh, look at that! Well, that was a ton of fun. We had 4 different Buffalo Trace barrels to choose from, so we all got our pours, and the room unanimously picked 2 barrels over the other 2. So we narrowed it down to 2, we left the room, and Freddie set them up in a blind tasting, so we didn't know which of the 2 that we wanted. And then really interesting of the group, we were split down the middle over which of the 2 barrels we wanted to go with. We let Freddie be the tiebreaker. Kind of cool for me, he picked the one that I liked, although I was happy with either of the 2 that we got down to. So man, it was delicious, and I think this Buffalo Trace honestly is going to pair great with like pulled pork and ribs. So I can't wait for this stuff to get bottled, get it back to Texas, and have it in some barbecue schools. Probably don't want to quit my day job. All right, we're headed over to watch some hand bottled Blandons.
Heavy breathing is allowed in here. On this line over here, we're doing barrel-proof Blandons.
Oh, is this straight from the barrel?
Yes.
Beautiful.
So this one's rolling out at 123 proof. This little room runs 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. The quota from the Small Craft Bottling Group is 10,000 bottles a day. So 50,000 bottles a week come through the Small Craft unit, and each one is done 1 barrel at a time.
All right, well, it's been an awesome day so far. Where are we headed now?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not sure if we can top what we've already done, but I'll try my best, okay? So how about if we go down to Warehouse H, which was created by Colonel Blanton back in the day. It's at the time, it was the only metal-clad warehouse on the property. We're gonna do a Weller Antique 107 back there. So.
That's my favorite Weller.
Sometimes they'll have weddings and stuff here. There's 2 bridges. So the photographer gets down here and the bride's family's on one bridge, the groom's family's on the other. And then it shows them coming together with the bride and groom in the middle sitting on the table. Yeah.
Well, if I have a 3rd wedding, I'll keep in mind.
Oh my God.
Let's see.
Well, we have had this.
I mean, we can make this. We're gonna have to recreate this. You know how much chili I can make in here? And you know what? There's no room for any beans.
Oh no.
It's one of the most fascinating things for me, location of the barrels in the same warehouse and what Mother Nature does in the barrel and
I'm telling you.
how different everything is. I mean, even the 4 that we tried earlier, they were all so different.
Isn't that crazy?
Same mash bill, same type of wood, but they all, I mean, were
Each one was unique.
unique, yeah. Well, and I'm living right today because we get not 1 but 2 barrel picks today. So we're gonna head down to another warehouse where we're gonna pick a Weller Antique 107, which I'm super excited about.
Different environment. So you can see how it's kind of cool. You know, some people like this environment. Some people, you know, if you take it up a notch, you know, you have the sofas and the chairs. But a lot of people just like the authenticity of being here and being around the barrels and have them laid down. They've just been pulled. Look at this. This is kind of cool. So you've got 84, 85, 86, and 775. So these 3 barrels set next to each other. And this one is your outlier, okay? And it was done at a different point in time, so this is really going to be cool. So this time you get a chance to look at the barrels and kind of like what the barrels look like. I look at things like I'll look at the hoops. The hoops tell me where the barrel was made. I look at, are the hoops rusty? Do they look kind of dry? Does the barrel look clean? Does it look dirty? To me, this is going to be really fantastic to do because the 3 barrels were filled at the same time, same recipe, set in the same warehouse right next to each other. So the conditions should be pretty much the same. So the difference is going to be these 35 to 40 staves that make up this barrel because they represent 35 to 40 different trees. Here's what we're going to do for this one is everybody's got a spot, kind of like the same exercises before, but this time everything is good to go. All right, round 1, we're going to see which dog doesn't get to go on the hunt.
Time to pick the Weller Antique 107. I'm getting notes of delicious.
All right, so here we are. It's time to get to work. So how many of you would like A to stay in the race? 1, all right? 1.5. He's kind of like, he's shaky on that. All right, how about B? I'll go B. All right, 3 for B. How about C? 1 for C. How about D? All right. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, here we go. How crazy is that? So I'm going to show you just a quick thing because we're there. What I want you to do is take a sip of water, hold that water in your mouth, and go back and revisit D again, and you're going to see exactly what he was talking about, and I think you're going to have a happy moment. Water first, while you're holding the water in your mouth, take another sip of D and watch what happens. With that sip of water, did you get a reinforcement? Isn't that cool how it opens up? And it really, I mean, the flavors, the mouthfeel is unbelievably good on that one. That is excellent. That one made me a happy person. Let's see if I can find that. Isn't that it there?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you got a good barrel. Okay, so what we're about to enjoy here is the Weller Antique. This is your barrel pick from a group of 4. And surprisingly enough, the vote was unanimous from the team that said this is where we want to be. So in light of what we call inclusion, because everybody's vote counted, we're going to raise your glass and the toast goes like this. There are tall ships, there are small ships, there are wooden ships, they sink. The best ships are friendships. It's to those ships we shall drink. Salute.
Cheers.
Man, all right.
You need them to describe. Can you describe like just tasting, like what you think?
Damn good. This is kind of cool. I'll tell you what, I have enjoyed. I don't know about you guys. Hopefully I haven't put you into too much misery. But this has been one of the most enjoyable, just relaxing, kick back, talking about things and making you, I'd never really thought about just sitting around with barbecue. And I remember we did a pit with half of a hog one time, and we drank all night. I mean, our job was to sit there and baste it and all this, and we just sat around and sipped and drank. And it's kind of like exactly what we're doing now. Most of the pleasure was in the preparation. And then the result was when we sat down together after it was all done and did a drink and a taste of the meat as we just pulled it right out of the pit. So thank you for letting me be a part of it.
No, thank you for taking time to be with us. Incredible day.
We got one more task that we got to do here. Bung driving 101. So somebody's got to drive the bung in and seal the deal.
Well, we call it Meat Church because it's about bringing people together to make great memories around good food. And I think the parallels between barbecue and bourbon are out of this world. Not only do people that like bourbon, often people that like barbecue, but to me, bourbon is about the memories you create around it. I know in the documentary Neat, you shared a story about you and your dad and your brother drinking a special bottle, and when you went to cork it, he said, nope, that's meant to be drank. We'll make, there'll be more bourbon. It's about the moment. So I just wondered what your thoughts are on the memories around bourbon and how it's similar to what I do.
Oh my gosh. If you think about that, you can't rush either one of those two. If you think about the preparatory work and the recipes for the bourbon, it's just like the recipe for the rubs and the ingredients that you're going to do for that meat. That's your preparation. And then you do all of that work, and then we put that whiskey into a barrel, you drop it down onto that grill, and then you have to wait. And you know that there's certain things you can do and certain things you can't do. One of the things is you can't basically go in and disturb it and mess it with it. Same thing with these barrels. We know that once we get our piece done, we've got to let Mother Nature and Father Time do their thing. And hopefully the result is something that is reflective of the time and the passion that we put into it on the front end. That's our reward when we pour that drink or we take that bite of that meat.
Yep.
And to me, that's the cool part about good bourbon and good barbecue is most of the folks that really get into this, they will not rush that moment.
Right.
And they will sit around with friends. They're going to get messy fingers. They're going to get juicy. And then at the end of the day, the plate's going to be empty. The bottle's going to be empty, but the memories live forever.
'Cause they don't make them like they used to anymore.
Man, what a day. I mean, to be led on a tour of this iconic distillery by Freddie, who's third generation to work here, and to go on 2 amazing barrel picks with friends and family. I mean, super special to me. I can't wait, by the way, to get these bottles back to Texas. We're going to incorporate them into our brisket and Matt's bourbon series that we're going to be doing. It's going to be a ton of fun. You guys will have opportunities to come to our events and get your hands on these bottles and taste this stuff, and it's going to be just a ton of fun. But like I always say, if you guys like what we're doing, make sure to like and subscribe. Your subscriptions are how we keep doing these free how-to videos. We'll see y'all next week.